Right. Evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Monkey Man, stealing from people using illegal and unlawful processes. Okay, right. We're gonna do some more symbolism in numbers and find out how the game is being played, or show the symbols that allow you to decipher. All right, like to break down loose cipher. All right, so you need to decipher what our automaton friends are up to. Okay, so 0, 0, or circle denotes completion. All right, and completion in numbers, there's only 9 numbers, right? So you go from 1 to 9, and then you go back to 1. That's why it's seen as completion, right? Mirror image or flip-flop, as above so below. Of that, you can symbolize a 9 as a 6. You can use a G as well if you prefer. Okay. Now, if you put the 6 and the 9 together, as the Freemasons do on top of their eye, you get a complete circle. Again, the yin and yang symbolism, which goes back to the circle. So that's why we're going to do number 9 today. So 9 could be a 0. If you want to see it that way, it means nothing. Nothing means nothing, and everything means everything. That's what number 9 is. It's an enigma. Everything is everything. All right, everything is everything. So if everything is 360 degrees, full circle. In the numerology business, then you do 3 plus 6, and you get your 9. If you split the circle in half, so that you have the yin and the yang, the positive and the negative, and that supposedly is 180 degrees. So the 8 plus 1 is going to give you the 9 again. And if you carry on and do that, presumably this is what they call 90 degrees. It's 9 again. If you split that again in half and take the 4 and the 5, go for the 45 degrees, and you end up with number 9 again. And then if you split that in half again, 2 plus 2 is 4, and 5 will give you 9 again. So that's, oh sorry, my God. Yeah, I'm doing my math and I'm not cameramanning, sorry. I'm not used to doing, yeah, right, there you go. That's what I was doing. So if you split this in half, you get 180 degrees, and 1 plus 8 is 9. Split that 180 degrees into half, you get 90 degrees. Split the 90 degrees in half, you get 45. Split that in half, you get 22.5, and all of it ends up back to 9, and that's the fractal aspect of everything. So you say everything is everything. Everything is a fractal. What do I mean by that? Is that if I take that circle, it's full circle, it's 360 degrees, it's a 9. It's a full circle. If I take only the black part, so the negative only, whereas it might be half of this circle, by itself it's a full circle as well. You see, that's what makes it 9. Because the 180, if you take this part only, just the half, that's a full circle, and that's a fractal of this one. And if you keep doing that, this one here as well. So if you just take this part only, this part, which is the 90 degrees, that forms its full circle. That's what I mean. And so it's full 9. Same with this, right? So many of these make that. Many of these little things comprise that. But these little things are holes in themselves. So these little things are the cells, and this is you. So you're a whole bunch of cells. But the cells are independent bodies on their own also, you see. And that's where the action is. So people are playing with your cells. They're not playing with your body as such, the entire thing. They're playing with very minute parts of you. You see, very tiny parts of you is what they're manipulating through the diet and through indoctrination and through the messages that come through the matrix and the media system. Yep, and the false history system, you see. They don't tell you that you are the whole bunch of little yous inside you, and you by yourself, you're also a little bit of something bigger. You see, you are a fractal of something else. So if this was you, the 22.2, the smallest bit, you can split it some more, but let's assume this is 22.5 is you, right? But you're part of this, except you're only here. Now if you see the circle as the completion or entirety of everything, then your tiny little bit is inside the creation somewhere. As long as you recognize that, this fools can't dupe you that much, so you don't know who you are, and you're running around in circles. So how do they do it? Well, initially, you have the circle. So energies were going, let's say that way. It's the other way really, but to make things easier, we're going to do it this way. So initially, all energy was flowing that way, in a circle, spiral. So when the rhesus factor monkey boy came round with his Hellenistic and his Roma culture, what he did was flip it completely, so that though it was going this way, he made it go the other way, right? So at some point in so-called history, he flipped it around and overturned the culture and introduced the hate business into human culture. We call it human, but man culture. All right? Because you can see these things clearly. I mean, they're in your face if you want to see them. Because whereas previous so-called civilizations had respect for both genders, the Roma people are only interested in boys, and they degrade women. Right, so when the rest of the world was developing, so to speak, the monkey boy was hitting his woman with a club over the head and dragging her into the cave, as we all know and we've spoke about before. And he's still doing it. I mean, there's only one culture. I saw something on the internet line which exemplifies the culture, because right, I don't know if I should get into it, but maybe I won't, so we'll leave it there. But this is where you get your Satan, serpent, snake symbolism, okay? This is where it comes from, the S symbolism. So that's when they flipped it, and then they flipped again, so that's where you get your two C's. S looks like that, can be represented as an S. They do that sometimes. They could choose to represent it this way. So they'll make a logo of some sort with two C's around it that look like something else, or it could just be a straight C, as it is. Or CC, two C's, is 33. So instead of saying S, I can say 33. A triangle also represents that. Ribbon, the three stripes, the orange, the color, is 33. What else? Blah, 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 blah. I can do it this way. I can do 2 and 3, you see, which is 2 times 3. 2 threes. 2 times 3, 3, 3. I can represent it 3, 2, which is 3 times 2, twice, right? So in advertising, this stuff is going to be there. However, prominently they're going to use that symbolism here, right? So they'll put their clown with a big ass, with a smile, standing in front of the brick wall, and they'll be doing their fucking assholes. I only can see that. But yeah, it's this LL symbolism, or Taurus symbolism. Some people call it Baphomet, right? So the brick wall represents the fact that they're builders who freed themselves of the constraints of Ma'at. So they don't practice Ma'at anymore, right? So they practice something else, but they don't practice Ma'at. They have no concept of egalitarianism. They have no idea. It's dog eat dog society. Yeah, selfish, self-absorbed, vacuous culture. Here we go. Now, this is the other representation of it on the sine wave. Okay. So when the circle was a circle, the circle was a circle until it stopped being a circle. So like I said, the energies were flowing in a circular manner, and then flow like that in a circular manner and keep expanding. When the resonance factor monkey mind comes in, it stops the energy going that way and it flips it around. Thus we get this sine wave here, which represent the four what's like cardinal points, the four seasons. It's the face of the clock. It's King Arthur and the 12 knights of the round table. It's Jesus right in the middle here and the 12 disciples. Okay, it's the 12 months of the year. It's the astrological signs. It's everything. Everything is in this symbolism here, so you can map it out. So with this one, when it comes to seasons and astrological signs, way it works, that is for every quarter, this would be the representation of it. Oh, this would be a half, sorry. 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's 1. Numbers, we get to number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Right? So with this one, it means that for every, this here would represent this part. But if I split it into 3, so if we have Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, and then I think Cancer. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and then Cancer. Right? Point being that this little quarter by itself, it's its own fractal. So that you'll get its own circle, and then you get this symbolism. Okay? For the first 3 say months of the year. So it'll be a fixed, it'll be a cardinal point, fixed and immutable. Cardinal point will be where it begins, the new season begins, so this is Aries. Alright, then fixed is when you're in the middle of the season. And then mutable is when you're changing into the next season, so you'll be changing into Cancer. Alright. So, point being that for every quarter, that's a full circle in itself. Alright, so winter is winter, summer is summer, and spring is spring. But they melt into each other so much that you don't, I mean you do notice, but it's not abrupt. Right? Nature is not abrupt like that. So that's where you get your that symbolism, circle, and if you put it into one, if you take this section and put it into one, you end up with that. So you end up with positive and negative. Because you have even numbers and odd numbers. Even numbers being feminine and odd being masculine. So these would be even numbers. These ones here, Eve. And this would be Adam numbers, odd numbers. By the way, evening is just that. Evening is just Eve. So if this was the beginning of the day, not in the middle of the night, this was night and day. This is morning. This is midday. This is evening. Alright? Eve. So you get the word Eve. It doesn't mean a woman who, oh, I want to go into that right now. Somebody thinks that there's a woman out there who spoke to a snake, and then the snake, oh, don't even, evening, right? The beginning of the dark side of the day, if you will. It's not a day, but the night side, the opposite of day. That's what it means. If this was man, this would be a woman, the opposite of it. It's not the same thing. Right, so the Eve is just that, evening. Alright? And for anyone who's interested in this Eve business, if they still believe that there's a woman called Eve and she was the first woman on earth, go and find out who Lilith was. And how come Adam, the so-called Adam, had a wife before Eve called Lilith, and she left him because of his treacherous conduct and unruly behavior. What's that all about? How come your pastor man never told you about that? Little boys and little girls, huh? Ask him that, Pastor man. Those are your symbols. You'll get that. Then you get the one finger. You get the two fingers, the LLs. Then you get the 6, 3 fingers, 666. What else do they have for us? Oh, of course, they'll give us the Taurus, and they'll give you also the 3 rings. A lot of the rings is the rings of Ezekiel, and they go like that. Alright? So 3 rings. Alright? They'll give you rings with pyramids on them. It's there, but it's all the same people. Point being, ladies and gentlemen, you know you've been deceived already. We're talking to the little boys and little girls who still live inside the matrix and believe that they're going to become, what is it called? An area manager of the... Anyway, the little boys and little girls are still digging a hole, spending the whole day digging a hole and filling it with dirt. Alright? So keep doing that. And good luck. Alright? In the meantime, for the men and the women, it's a very good year for the men and the women, because this year, those who are awake will be able to show competency as they take charge of their estates and run these estates competently. Alright? That's where we're taking it this time. So that's your signs and symbols. So the point with these signs and symbols is see them and know who these people are, and you decide how much support you want to give to the so-called devil business. Okay, because it's negative energies and this conflict that they cause, they thrive on conflict. It's like scavengers, or what are they called? Somebody who works in the legal industry, right? Legal should not be, law is not something to make money out of, but people do that. Now anyone who is in the industry, maybe we should not, I think we should spare them their own special talk. But so yeah, don't be deceived, don't get emotionally involved. The point is, people are trying to get into conflict. When you are conflicting, because it's friction, and that is the energy they require to live, that energy that friction causes. And when people are warring, they love that energy, they thrive on it. Alright? So that's the energy you have to remove. So it's no more conflict, there's no more competition, It's collaboration now. So the conflict is out of the way. So we're going to starve them. We won't get involved in any of the conflicts, all right? And to leave the people in the Matrix to be in the Matrix. So I think the people in the Matrix are sufficient for these devils to live off. And the ones who want to be awake will be awake. And yeah, that's what's going to happen, right? So I'm going to cut off, ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, take the Tooblack signing off. Hello? Hello?